Hello, students. Today we are going to continue with the causes of stress. So, in last lecture, we saw the individual causes, which were career changes, changes in life, role conflicts, job conflicts, personality traits. Now, we are going to see what are the organizational causes. So, the first point in that is organizational policies. The policies of the organization, if they are negative, defective, ambiguous, then definitely it produces stress among the workers and employees. Now, for example, defective system of job evaluation, rigid service rules, frequently if the job rotation is being undertaken, the transfer policy is defective, there is defective procedure, code of discipline. No, so this may or these are the various policies decided by the top management, and they are being implemented rigorously in the organization. And because if they are not very uh, properly designed, or if there are any defects, if somebody is being because of those policies, if some injustice is done with any of the employee, then definitely people are under stress. Because these policies, when they are implemented, for example, if you are having a very defective transfer policy, then definitely a person comes under stress, because transfer means changing of your uh, workplace, right? So you're transferred from one office to another office. Of course, your nature of work, your designation doesn't undergo change, but your workplace undergoes a change. So if that policy is not quite transparent, and if it is not giving justice to that employee, then definitely, if a person is being transferred to any place which is not very convenient for him, and he's very uncomfortable in that place, then definitely it produces stress. So at that time, these employees or these individuals blame organization about its policies, that how such policies have been designed by the top management without considering the mindset of the employees. So that way the blame undergoes, and people are under stress if they undergo, or if they are being such policies are implemented in their regard. Okay, so that brings about stress. Then second organizational causes, defective organizational structure. So if the structure of the organization is unscientific, I mean, if the division of work is not properly undertaken, authority is not properly delegated, then the responsibilities are not equally shouldered, such kind of activities or such kind of structure definitely creates the work stress in the organization and among the people. And it definitely affects the morale and efficiency of employees, which creates some additional stress. Okay, what is morale? Morale is the attitude towards the organization. So definitely, if the organizational structure is defective, as I mentioned, that if work division of work is not proper, that means if you're no you are overloaded, if an individual is overloaded and his or her colleague is quite relaxed, there are no any major responsibilities regarding that individual. Okay, so you as a individual, when you are working all the time, you feel that I am working here 8 hours continuously, day and night I'm working hard for the organization, and at the same time my colleague who is drawing same amount of salary, and is at the same hierarchical level, same designation, nature of work is same, but he is being not shouldered with many kind of responsibilities, or he is being assigned with limited task. So he is quite relaxed, so I am only the person who is being overburdened. So that may produce a stress, that what is the policy of the organization, and what kind of a structure do this organization have. So it makes an addition in the stress level of an employee. And due to this, that employee develops a negative attitude towards the organization, and this negative attitude lowers down its morale and its efficiency as well. Then next one is defective organizational process. Now there are various processes in the organization. So if the processes are unscientific, for example, process of supervision, controlling, then process of communication, reporting process, these are so many processes in organization. So if these processes are not giving justice to employees, if they are having certain defects, they are not scientifically being chalked out, then definitely they create stress among the employees. They feel that, if the communication is not proper, if it is only one way, your employees are not supposed to express their opinion, their suggestions are not welcomed, then definitely what happens, if even if the employees are very efficient, they are very intelligent, they are having number of new ideas, but if they are not welcomed in the organization, they feel that, what kind of communication process exists in this organization, it is always one way kind of, so that produces a stress. And they are unhappy with the things going on in the organization. As I said, not only communication process, it may be reporting process, it may be controlling process, the way your boss is evaluating your performance, that process. Okay, so many processes are existing in the organization, so that leads to increase in the stress level. Then next one is lack of training, group training. Here it means, so group training is necessary so that your employees come to know about the objectives, goals, policies of the organization. But if such training programs are not organized, then it may create ambiguity and in the process of decision making, which may produce stress among the employees, because here employees doesn't have any idea about what sort of objectives, what sort of goals are set for the group as a whole. And if the training is not proper, training is not provided, then your employees are in a confused state of mind, confused state where they don't understand what are my goals, what I'm supposed to do, what are the expectations of management from my side, so all sorts of things, they are not, they don't get any sort of answers for this, and there's always a big question mark in their mind, so that leads to increase in the stress. Then next, last one is poor working conditions. Of course, working conditions are should be of good kind, because your employees spend almost 8 to 10 hours at the workplace, and that is of course an important cause of work stress. If the workplace is poor lighted, poor ventilated, if you have insufficient working space, if workplace is quite noisy, then lack of necessary safety measures are not there, different kinds of pollution exist, or there are no any sanitary blocks or facilities for individuals. So these are the things which produce stress, because a person is going to spend 8 to 10 hours in the campus, and if you want your employees to work wholeheartedly with devotion, give their best all the time, so definitely you should create an environment which is stress free, which is very comfortable, pleasant environment has to be created. And if such environment or working conditions are not available in the organization, then definitely individual is continuously under stress, because he is not satisfied with the facilities provided by the organization, and he all the times thinks that organization doesn't care about the working conditions of the employees, and they just are focusing their attention on completion of their own work, right? So sometimes, this is the feeling, negative feeling, I can, again you can say that the morale gets lower over here, because employees feel negative about the organization and what sort of facilities are provided, so there's again a big question mark for the employees, because how to spend so much time of the day in such an environment is a big question mark for them. Okay, then in organizational causes, these are the five causes. Then let us go for the group causes. In group causes, because you work in group, okay, even though you are an individual, you have to work in groups. So first is lack of group cohesiveness. So certainly if you are having good cohesiveness, unity, then definitely you are having healthy relations among the members. But if this cohesiveness is lacking, then definitely it leads to unhealthy relations, ill relations, which create stress in the work group. Because if you are not, there are differences in opinion, there are certain conflicts in the group, you as a group don't cooperate each other, then definitely it creates stress in the group members. Second point is also in association with the first one, is lack of cooperation. Of course, when you are doing work in team, cooperation is definitely important. Your work is, I mean, organizational work is always interdependent. You can't individually handle it. Mutual cooperation is essential in organization as your jobs are interrelated and interdependent. But if there is lack of cooperation among the group, then definitely the stress level increases, because that means if the group members are not cooperating you to do certain work, they are not listening to you, they are not following your orders, they are not supporting you, then definitely it creates stress. Next is lack of homogeneity. Homogeneous or a one, a likeness, which we call. If the group members are heterogeneous, then definitely there is no any cohesiveness. It disturbs the team spirit, and which produces the work stress again. Okay, so homogeneity have to be present if you want to reduce the stress, but generally whenever there is heterogeneity, then definitely it increases the stress level. Next is group conflict. An organization consists of work groups and many groups, main and subgroups. So, any kind of conflict among these groups may result in work stress among the concerned groups. Suppose two people are quarreling among themselves from the group, or they are arguing with each other. So, definitely the environment gets polluted all of a sudden, the relations get spoiled, right? So, of course, I mean, that is a hurdle for doing your further work. Okay, and then those people, those who have been fighting with each other, they will decide, they will create their own groups, they'll try to oppose the another group, they will not cooperate with each other, so other things come along with it, so it disturbs your personal relations, your an unhealthy environment is created in the organization. So definitely group conflict create problems. And then we are going to, so these were the some of the causes of stress. In case of unhealthy career competition, of course, if there is very unhealthy, and if justice or transparency is not maintained in competition. For example, you are having unhealthy competition for promotion, higher post, better position, desired task to be done, or if you are desired department to be given to which person, such decisions may produce stress among the groups, because the competition is quite unhealthy. Okay, so these were the five group causes. Now we are going to see which are the extra organizational causes other than organizational internal causes. There are some external factors which cause stress among the employees. So in that, the first one is environmental changes. So external environmental conditions are always, they keep on changing, they are dynamic, and some of these changes affect the personal or social life of the employees, which may produce work stress. Now in environment, for example, now the pandemic situation is, we are passing through, going through. So definitely whenever you're going for you're at your workplace, you're very much concerned, because what is going on in the world, in the society, this virus is spreading like anything, it is becoming more and more dangerous day by day. So this produces stress. So what stress a person feels, individual feels, that me and my family should be away from it, we should be safe, and all sorts of safety measures I should take, so that I can keep myself and my family safe and against this virus, right? So this is the environmental changes has taken place, the virus has come in the external environment, it may affect you anytime, right? So definitely here, this time the works, the stress level of an individual increases, because he's very much concerned about his and his family's health, right? So all the time he's getting an insecure feeling that I'm always in the danger, I may not come in contact with a positive person, and something wrong should not happen with me, right? So all the time this stress comes up, I mean, it's in his mind all the time, right? So you can say a fearful kind of environment has been created. So that is the example of environmental changes. There are certain another changes, or there are certain incidents taking place in the society, which definitely affects the individual. Okay, then second is social changes. Anything happens in the society, produces stress. These social changes disturb the social or personal life, which may produce work stress. Something something very wrong is happening in the society, how the society is behaving, how the culture is being getting deployed day by day. Sometimes we feel insecure, or sometimes a stress level increases. For example, when you are thinking about your next generation, so when you look outside in the society, how youngsters are behaving, and if generally the darker or the gray side of youngsters is being shown or highlighted. So we are very much concerned about our children, what our children will do, how is their future. You're a little bit worried about your children, because the society has been changed, the culture has been changed, the level of thinking has been changed, the style of living has been changed. So many changes are taking place in the society, and how my children are going to step up into that society and make their own identity. So that may be the tension. So in as per the societal changes, this pressure also comes with it. Then third is family problems. So who doesn't have family problems? All sort of domestic family problems. If somebody is ill, has some severe disease is being diagnosed among your family members, some serious treatments are going, or death of your family member, these are the family problems which disturb the mental state of mind, and because of that the stress level has been increased, and because of these domestic problems you are unable to concentrate on your work. Okay. Next is your economic problems. Economic or financial problems are most intense, which affects the normal behavior. Deficit income, extra expenditures, high indebtedness, because of this lot of, burden of loan, recovery of loan, installment. So a lot of financial burdens, or if you have borrowed some amount of money from somebody, and that third person is continuously asking you for that money, that when are you going to return them, right? So all the time that financial burden lies with you, and you're trying to save each and every penny for it, but you are unable to manage the monetary side of yours. So that is economic problem. So definitely this is called as intense problem, because you cannot you that's the reality. Whatever you have earned, you cannot make a fake you can't create a fake scene of that I have lot of money. You can't do that, isn't it? Whatever you have to manage accordingly. So that is the biggest problem. People come under stress because of economic and financial problems. And the last cause of stress is technological changes. These are the changes which affects the job opportunities and career of employees. These changes, because of changes in technology, it leads to curtailment of manpower, loss of job, uncertainty of job, and which produces the high degree of work stress among the employees. Now when the technology undergoes a change, people are under continuously under stress, that because of this advanced technology, whether I'll lose my job, isn't it? So or I'll have to I'll have to search for how I'm going to survive my family, how I'm going to do financial things. All these sorts of stress level, it increases because of all these problems. So these are the causes of stress. Now we are going to see what are the effects of stress. Now work stress affects the performance of the workers and employees adversely, because it produces physical, psychological, and behavior problems. And individual and group behavior of employee at workplace is very important factor, which need to be monitored against the work stress for desired performance and output. And definitely work stress produces negative effect, and definitely affects the efficiency of the employees and performance. The first one, it reduces efficiency, it disturbs the normal behavior. Sometimes we see that the person who was behaving very normally, all of a sudden he starts getting angry very soon, is very irritated, disturbed, frustrated kind of a behavior. So something which is abnormal, every day how he behaves with you, he's not behaving with you in that manner. So we say that something is wrong with this fellow, his behavior has been changed. So your normal behavior undergoes a change and you start behaving in a very different manner. Sometimes you become arrogant, sometimes you are very you lose your tempo. Many things happen, so you are not behaving normally. That is the effect of stress. And because of that, sometimes it may happen that whatever quality of products you were supposed to give, you get deviated from it. You start making a lot of mistakes in your work. You were very perfect earlier, you were very perfect in your work, but because of work stress, increase in work stress level, you start doing silly mistakes, certain errors you commit. So deviations take place, and this disturbs the planning process of the organization, because whatever the organization had planned a task for you, because that individual is under stress, he is unable to implement the plan, definitely. So planning process undergoes a change, or it is disturbed, you can see. Then it also disturbs the organizational discipline. Okay, because the workers are not working as per the desired output, you are not getting, the performance is not up to the mark, the stress level has been increased, and the behavior of your workers is abnormal. Okay, then it produces a negative impact on the goodwill of the organization, and it disturbs the labor relations. Now what happens when the external, I mean, when the other people other than your organization come to know about the stress level of employees, or the output of the organization, and when they come to know that these employees of particular organization are continuously under stress, then definitely that that negative message is being spread into the society, where people start looking at that organization as a very organization which is keeping its employees continuously under stress. So you may lose your goodwill on basis of your the stress level. So if you don't manage your stress properly, then definitely your goodwill may be hampered in the society. And it disturbs the labor relations. Of course, when you are under stress, your normal behavior is being uh, changed, and definitely you start behaving very abnormally with people. Your internal relations, your mindset undergoes a change, and you don't behave in a good manner with other people. And definitely some misunderstandings do take place because your behavior has been changed. You lose your tempo, you say few bad words to other people because you are angry all the time. So irritation, frustration, some mental imbalance does take place, and because of this it may happen that you misbehave with somebody, so your relations may spoil because of it. So these are the effects of stress. Now we are going to see which are the coping strategies of stress. Okay, so the first one is physical exercise and yoga. As you know, physical exercise, yoga is the best remedy for managing work stress at individual level. Physical exercise like cycling, jogging, walking, playing, swimming, running, these are the physical ways of exercising. So they are suggested at home, even at workplace also. At the same time, along with physical exercise, yoga is the best scientific technique, which is mostly adopted in corporate sector nowadays. So certainly physical and exercise and yoga both will definitely help you to reduce your stress if you do it regularly. Then the second one is relaxation. Employees are suggested to undertake certain processes of relaxation, both at workplace or at home. So for relaxation, you can go for meditation, simple exercises, concentrating your attention on your hobbies. Everybody is having some sort of a hobby. It may be playing indoor games, gardening, listening to music, chatting, reading. So these are the processes which relax you. So whenever, even if you are engaged in that hobby is a thing in which you get engrossed, your mind is being diverted and you feel relaxed, so you can do that. So such relaxation techniques can be adopted at workplace also. So because of this, it provides mental peace and physical equilibrium. So most probably meditation is being suggested as a most powerful weapon for reducing work stress and its effects. Okay, then next, third one is orientation. Orientation sessions may be conducted for reducing work stress. Employees having work stress can be identified, and expert counselors can be invited, appointed in the organization, and series of orientation sessions can be conducted till the work stress is being reduced or it is completely removed. Next is human networking. So, cordial and dynamic relations with co-workers and superior help to reduce work stress and its effects. Hence, intentional efforts should be made for such relations. Mutual relations among employees even prevent the work stress. So, you should try to develop good relations and good human networking so that you can express your ideas, share your feelings with somebody, and that helps you to relax and reduce your work stress. Next is work transition. Change of job and workplace is one of the remedy for reducing work stress. So such a change may produce relaxation to employees suffering from stress. Even 30 or 20-30 minutes daily work time may be assigned for review of activities or work done for keeping him relaxed. You can change the work or change the workplace. So you change in work is relaxation. So you can go for that. Then next one is cognitive therapy. This is the process of training the employees for self-controlling of stress and its effects. So self-controlling, you can call it, as it is developed by expert psychologists. And employees suffering from work stress are identified, and the effects of their stress is also identified under this remedy. The expert psychologists conduct interactive sessions with the identified employees in which work stress and its effects are brought to their notice very systematically. It's a scientific way, so it's called as cognitive therapy. Employees are psychologically oriented under this therapy for self-controlling, self-defense against work stress, because that's the changes in your mental body, right, mental and physical body. So definitely it's your physical and mental health. So you know better that whenever I am under stress, what sort of things I should do to reduce my stress. Okay, my heartbeat, for example, has been increased because I want to go for some presentation. So I should, I should calm myself. I should, I should just close my eyes, take a deep breath, and say all is well, and it's fine. Okay, so this is the way how I calm myself, or how I control my stress. So that way everybody knows that whenever I'm suffering from any sort of stress, how to calm myself. Okay, so everybody is having that remedy, but you are not aware of that remedy. So these psychologists will systematically tell you that whenever you are under stress, what sort of things are to be done so that you can self control yourself. Okay, so that's a good thing. So that is called as cognitive therapy. Then second one, next one is personal guidance. Of course, it's helpful for stress affected employees. A psychologist or a professional counselor definitely can provide such guidance by removing the work stress and even its effects. So somebody who is having a scientific knowledge and who very well knows that what are the adverse effect of stress on physical and mental body, then definitely some counselor can conduct sessions through which he can try to convince you and tell you what are the bad effects of stress, and then he can tell you certain remedies to come out of it. Okay, so personal guidance will definitely make a difference, because individual to individual the stress level differs from, okay, the factors or which are whatever causes of stress which we saw just now, they are differ from person to person. Some people are having a lot of individual stress, some are having organizational stress, isn't it? So types of stress are also different, and the causes of stress are also different. So you never know that which is the main cause of stress for that particular individual. So personal guidance can definitely help you out. Next is deciding the priorities. Mm, Sometimes different roles may produce stress. Under this situation, employees should be suggested to decide the priorities of different roles, and the superior shall guide him for deciding the priorities. That means every individual has to play variety of roles, right? In role conflict, we saw you have to play a role as an employee, as a superior, as a subordinate, as a colleague. At home also you have to play different roles. So there is a lot of role conflict in the mind. So you have to set your priorities, that what is my priority, which role I have to play first, and then I have to give less importance to another role. So you decide that priority. And last one is time management. Of course, scientific time management techniques help to prevent stress. Employees orient shall be oriented to follow the technique of time management both for organizational and domestic activities. If you don't complete your work within the time, definitely it is the main cause of increasing your stress. So if you go for time management techniques, definitely you can manage yourself, you can complete your task within the time, and then there is no need of stress if you complete all the work within the specified time. Okay, so these were the individual remedies. In case of organizational remedies, the first one is at organizational level, what sort of things should be done by management. The first one is supportive climate. Now this is definitely the thing which management can do, which will help to prevent and reduce stress among the employees. Organizational policies and managerial leadership should be oriented to create such supportive climate. It should reflect in decision making process, relation of superior and subordinate, discipline, and in all sorts of processes in organization. The employees should feel that they are dignified human factors in organization, they are important part of organization. Honest and sincere efforts will be should be made by the organization to maintain such climate, supportive climate, at middle and lower level management, especially because those are the levels where a lot of stress has been created. Next is better working condition. Of course, at workplace you should have better work conditions to prevent stress. It helps the employees to keep energetic, and pleasant environment has to be created. Lack of facilities produce stress. Safety measures, anti-pollution system, better roof, better ambience, better interiors, clean healthy lavatories, sufficient space, ample light, air, healthy, healthy facilities, safety measures. These are the things which will definitely create a joyful environment and keep employees away from any kind of stress. Next is job enrichment. Higher job satisfaction of for employees works like a magic to prevent the stress. So process of job enrichment can be undertaken for certain jobs in which stress is produced. Stress producing job shall be identified, and such job should be re-reached in scientific manner. So better the job should be reshuffled. Skill variety, greater responsibility, liberty, such things should be added, so that the employee who is doing that job should feel energetic while doing that. He should feel that my intelligence, my potential is being utilized by doing this job. So it's quite challenging, so that way you can enrich the job. Next is role clarity. Role conflict is one of the source of stress, and therefore superior should define the roles of subordinate employees in more clear and scientific way. The process of job analysis certainly makes more clear the various stages and elements, required skills and expectations. So such kind of role clarity keeps the workers more comfortable at the job and help them to prevent the stress. Then next is better process. So if you are having defective process of planning, decision making, directing, organizing, communicating, controlling, reporting, so should be identified, and those defects should be removed immediately. Zero defect process will definitely help to reduce the stress. So continuous efforts from on the part of management for improving and updating the internal process should be undertaken. Feedback system for the process improvement should be laid down, and employees should be encouraged for such timely feedback. So when you give the feedback, automatically you give the suggestions, and those suggestions are accepted by the management, and on the part of management they will see to it that there are zero defect process in the organization. Next is changes in structure. So healthy, liberal and scientific structure of an organization help to reduce stress among employees. Therefore periodical review feedback should be taken with the help of expert. Necessary changes and modifications should be made for restructuring the organization, and democratic and consultative organization structure will definitely help to prevent the stress, and frequent changes in the structure should be avoided. And next one is positive personnel policies. So transparent and positive policies help to produce healthy climate among the employees, such as policy regarding wages, promotion, transfer, recruitment, compensation, retirement benefit, bonus. These are the major sources of stress. So a periodical review has to be taken regarding such policies, and positive changes should be brought into such policies, and it should be seen by the management that employees are satisfied with these policies. Next one is career planning and counseling. These are the significant remedies which generally produce serious stress. So, regular program for career counseling will help to reduce the level of stress. Proposed opportunities and career paths which are linked with individual goals should be explained with requirement of skills and knowledge. It leads the employees to greater involvement, active participation, and higher satisfaction, which will keep them away from the stressors. And then you're having stress control workshop. So regular workshops should be organized for controlling stress and its effects. Employees should be oriented to understand the different sources, dynamics of stress through workshops. They should be further oriented how to overcome the stressors and its effects on their behavior. Even personal guidance should be provided in overcoming their domestic problems which produce stress. And last but not the least, there is labor welfare schemes. Management may introduce better welfare schemes which will help to reduce stress. It includes housing schemes, housing loan, domestic finance, employment for family members, free education to children, medical facilities for family, educational loan, sports facilities, pension scheme, gratuity, bonus, etc. So these welfare schemes certainly provide a mental peace to the employees. They feel secured, which keep them free from various anxieties. Okay, so these were the coping strategies for stress. So with this we will end with today's lecture. Thank you.